It's always a good idea to have an understanding or sort of an expectation of what your answer should be. Is there anything about your answer that you know just by looking at this problem? Well, if we see in 1977 the population was 687,000, and in 1993 as the x's increase, is our population going up or down? It's going down, right? So are we expecting our slope to be positive or negative? If it's decreasing, the slope should be negative. Okay? So again, just knowing that in the back of your mind is going to be useful. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the slope equation. Now, to, again, call up slope, I can either go into this second subtraction, this var link, scroll down until I find slope, and hit enter. Okay? That pulls it up. Or if I wanted to, I can alpha lock my calculator, and I could just spell the word itself. So if I just spell S-L-O-P-E, deselect the alpha key and put make sure I have my E. Okay. And then put my parentheses. I can enter my coordinates as the values, 1993, comma, 684, 650, comma. Don't use a comma in your number, okay, to indicate the thousands. It won't work for this. Okay, my next number is 1977, comma, 687,050. Close that off, and when I hit enter, I'll get my solution, which should be negative 150. Is that consistent with what you were expecting? Negative number, again, seems realistic. Okay. If we take our general slope equation right here, and remember our calculators don't really, we've already assigned y's and x's to other things, so we're going to use h's and k's for this. So we want our slope equation to be k1 minus k2 over h1 minus h2. So this is the calculation that we're going to use here. Okay. So when I set this up, okay, the first thing I need to do is select define. Okay, define is included in this other. So if I go into my tabs, F4 other tab, select define, or you can, if you want, you can alpha lock it and just type the word define. Then I'm going to give it a name. Okay, so the name I'm going to give it is, it needs to be descriptive enough. Don't say M, don't call it M, because you might use M for something, or it might be used for something later. So just, if I alpha lock my calculator, I'm just going to type the word slope. Slope's not used for anything, so I'm just going to spell it, the whole word out. Slope, once you name, so you call define, then you give it a name, slope. And then what we need to do before we set our equation or calculation, we need to order the inputs. Okay? So just like we did with the distance and the midpoint, we're not looking to put the y's together and the x's together like we would in the actual calculation. What we want to do is indicate our input is just going to be one ordered pair followed by the other ordered pair. So I'm going to input this as h1, comma, k1. So there's my first ordered pair, and then comma h2, comma k2. There's my second ordered pair. So all I'm doing right here is I'm telling the calculator I'm going to order the entries as x coordinate, y coordinate, followed by the next x coordinate and its y coordinate. So it's just going to be a list of 4 numbers. Once I order my inputs, I can then use equal to tell the calculator I'm going to start my calculation here. And the calculation I'm going to use is this equation. So in parentheses, I'm going to take the difference of my y's. Okay, so I'm going to use k1 minus k2. The order could be changed, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to divide that by the difference of my corresponding x's. My x's are h's. So I'm going to use, h1 minus h2. Okay, and once I finish that equation, I'll hit enter and my calculator should say done. What that means is this is now stored in that var link command. If you hit second and then subtraction, and then if you scroll down, or if you just hit the a letter around S or T. So to me, because this is the T button and it's so close, I'm just going to hit that, and it gives me, takes me right to where the alphabetical order S's is. So here's slope. So I can pull out the slope, and that would be my equation. So if you go to varlink, this second subtraction, you can either scroll up or down, or you can, if you just hit the key that corresponds with the letter you want to jump to. So you could hit S, it'll go to the first command that you've named with the letter S. But since T is right there, and I know that slope's going to be right around it, T is an easy button to select. Okay, but you get your slope,